Alright, so we're going to look at something here kind of funny, and I want to just show you the two engines here, okay, side by side, on two Huffy Good Vibrations frames. So, I got me a tape measure here. Give me one sec. Alright. Nice yellow tape measure. So, down to the center of that, we're looking at 4 inches. From the top of the crank on this one to that, we're looking at 8 inches. Alright, top of that engine, we're looking at 2 inches. Mind you, this is a Minarelli with a spacer too, and a, CNC head on it. Well, it's not a CNC head, it's one of the casted ones, okay? And then we're looking side to side here. We'll just say air filter. We won't even include the air filter. We'll just do the carb. The carb's like about there where it starts. So we're looking at 8 inches roughly. Okay. And we're not including all the rest of the stuffing sitting out there. Like, I'll show you to be fair. Okay. We're literally sitting at 8 inches. Okay. Alright. So, with that said, and then in the front, I don't know, let's see. Thing dirty. Got about 3 inches clearance. Ugh. So, we're going to go down here off there. That's at 4 inches. The center of that one, it's about 7 inches. We got 2 1/4 off the top. I'm just saying, from exhaust to there, we're looking at 6 inches. So, and then just to say where the carb mounts, we'll do it right off it. To the frame, 5 inches. And then where the carb actually mounts on this to the frame, if we were to go straight back, we're looking at 6 inches. Alright. So, I don't see, oh, and then we just did this, what was it, a little over 8 from the edge of the carb to this pipe, right? So, we're looking the edge of that to the edge of this, we're about 8 inches plus the pull start, so we're looking at 10. So we're about 10 inches straight up. No, 9, I would say. 9 inches, roughly. So where is the big factor of how these are so much bigger than a 2-stroke? Now, the weight of this engine right here is 23.8 pounds. So we're looking at 24 pounds. I know for an exact fact that this pipe right here weighs exactly 5.4 pounds. The reason is because when I welded it and I hung it to dry, it was the only thing I had to hang it on at the time. So I used what do you call it? One of the weigh scale hooks to put it on the thing through one of the loops. Okay? So just kind of funny. But you're looking at that right there, and that's probably about 17 pounds. Plus you got your reed valve, plus you got your carb hanging off it, and I got a silencer on it so you don't go death riding it. So by the time you're done adding all that up, how exactly does that weigh any different? You know, you're in the same ballpark, because by the time we're done modifying this, we're probably going to add about 5 pounds to it. We're probably looking at 32 pounds, and we're probably looking at 32 pounds worth of crap is sitting there by the time you're all done. I mean, seriously, with the heads and all the different parts and everything. Just saying. Just reality-wise, the pipe, your silencer, I mean, all that. So, just take it into, you know, for a minute, and it doesn't really make sense what a lot of people say. Now, two strokes can go very fast RPMs, and four strokes have a harder time with valve float, so there is some speed differences that we're going to have and stuff like that. Um, but weight to power ratio for a two stroke will outdo a four stroke, so that is true. But if you modify these right, they can put out a hell of a lot of torque, which means you can use a smaller sprocket than that two stroke can. And you could actually generate quite a bit of force with one of these if you do the valves and stuff right. But they're little tiny engines, you know. Like, and you know what? You see all these people at SoCal and all that talking like they're big and bad with these minarellis doing 55 and stuff. I mean, these things blow up like crazy. They don't last long like that. The bearings and stuff just ain't designed for it. But in reality, 38 miles an hour, 40, that would last you quite a long time. The reality of this is it's going to be 38, 40, and it'll probably last just as long. So if you're not planning on blowing up your engines and using some common sense, this one and that one are going to be no different. Sadly, in the end, I mean, I got a saw build sitting right there. That one there, you know. This one here, I don't take it over $6,000 normally. I don't have to with a CVT though. The other thing that you could do with this, funny enough, is you can put a CVT on it because I found one. And I'm going to try and get a hold of one, which means it'll have a gear range. You could drop down the RPMs and actually make this go faster. So, interesting. If it follows suit to the other four stroke that I got sitting there, which is 110cc with a CVT on it. So, I don't know. You know, by the time you're, other than this one doesn't really count. This is like a dirt bike almost. Okay, this is like a 125cc dirt bike at this point. It's ridiculous overkill. Had to redo things to it that most people are not going to do. The saw build has a ton of torque. Minarelli has a ton of RPMs. This thing right here, I don't know, it sounds like a mosquito. This one right here has so much torque to it with the CVT, it's ridiculous. And once it gets going, it hauls ass. But you gotta actually spend the time to let it run up and ramp up to its thing. It doesn't just do it, you know what I mean? It's like a go-kart. It's because of the wheel size, actually, that there's a lot to that. I'm not going to get into it right now. But the funny thing about this and the funny thing about this, if you look at all these together, that really isn't taking up much more damn space than that is. That's my point. We're looking at two bikes identical, and they both fit within the same freaking area. And I'm not comparing a Minarelli to this, like power-wise and stuff. I'm comparing the size of it. Because your typical 80cc kit is going to be almost the same size when you trick it out with a head and all that. So, you know, that's even a little higher because it's got a spacer in it. So just keep that in mind, you know. But anyways, with that said, give me 1 minute. I want to talk about this more. Alright, so I took some advice. I put a 36 tooth on. Damn awesome. Best freaking thing I did yet with this build. What happened with the 44 tooth is when you slowed down, it would actually start shoving the chain and pulling instead of just rolling with the engine. So the 36 tooth actually smoothed that out greatly. It was really good. I had to clean the metal shavings out of that big gear. There's a plate in there and stuff. You just gotta go through all this really good. Take your heat shield off all the way around. First thing you do, just throw that out. I'm probably going to take the exhaust and literally just cut it off right at the muffler. Like we're going to just straight pipe it. Now, here's the big thing. This is a 144F, definitely. It is stamped in the serial. I did find it on the bottom. It's over there. It's really hard to see with the camera. It is not limited by, it's not governed by the magneto at all. There's no governing in it. I got this to do 6,700 RPM according to the cheap eBay wraparound spark plug, RPM tester. Those are give or take off 300 RPM always. So we'll just say 6,000, I don't know, 500. Okay. So it's 6,500 RPM. It's maxing out at. And how did I do it? It's not a mechanical limiter. Well, it is, but it's not like, a gyro one. And it's not the magneto. It was this. All they did was flip a clip and put it in so that you couldn't fully engage the throttle. If you flip that over, it stops at about halfway. That's it. That was the governor on this one. So if you buy this kit, the one that I linked in this one, that's actually what's governing the engine from going up to $6,000. So I just figured I'd let you guys know that's what I found and that's how I did it. Other than that, I just wanted to show you, that's what it is. I'm taking it for some rides, breaking it in, getting used to it. We're gonna take this thing down some nasty stuff and torture test it a little. I used to do some trails and stuff down here, and I heard they're really bad right now, all the logging trucks. So we're gonna take this thing and just drag it through some mud and see if it survives, just for fun. At some point, we're gonna take it all apart. We're gonna talk about valve float and all that, because it's 6,500, we'll say, because that's where it was maxing out. It was valve floating, and I'll explain what that is another time, but that's the limiting factor on this right now, and that's not a good thing. You don't really want to do that. So there's a lot of ways to work around it. Like on this one, I added bigger springs and a bigger exhaust port, and some other stuff with the cam, and we'll get into that later. But we can definitely fix that problem a little bit, mitigate it anyway, so, and probably get it to about 7,000, we'll say 800, we'll say 7,500-ish, maybe. We'll be able to get this too without blowing it up. I'm gonna pretty close to that. This thing's pretty damn balanced too. I gotta give it credit because at high RPM it doesn't shake at all. And 4-strokes shake like hell when you over rev them. So that's kind of impressive all on its own. But anyways, I just wanted to give you an update. It's official. It's going to be blue. We got the sticker on. Don't touch my bike. And then painted that blue. Got the spoke covers coming. And we're going to play with this some more. But I just wanted to give you a side-by-side because you don't really see this on the same frame next to the same other frame. All right, peace out.